Hello everyone and welcome back to another Apex Racing TV, ART and RLL Porsche Tag Heuer eSports Supercup World Championship race. Alex Simpson, Lee Thompson here for the ART and RLL stream. And yeah, we're a man down, Lee. We need to start off, I guess, with that, just as people will spot very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, Johan having a race ban for this event after a couple of incidents last time out at the Nürburgring. But he'll be back for the final round in 2 weeks, and conveniently replaced by a dashboard for today's event. But yeah, Le Mans today, Alex. I mean, so we went from Nürburgring, say 2 weeks ago, epic circuit, to very different circuit. It's not out in the forest, but still this monster of an endurance circuit that the guys in the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars are having to deal with.
I'm gonna have
a cracker.
I'm gonna have to stop you very quickly. What's happened to Jeff? Like, something's gone on with Jeff. Did he get disconnected? Like, his camera's gone as well. Literally, we've got literally a screenshot of his butt, and he's short.
I'm seeing in iRacing throughput fell to unacceptable level.
Oh no!
So,
he's
and actually, interesting, his spotter disconnected as well. So I don't know if that's an automatic thing because he's only allowed in there to spot Jeff, or if that's a Brazil thing maybe. So that, I mean, hopefully the former, and that they can get back in nice and quick. But yeah, both Jeff and his spotter are disconnected. So fingers crossed they can get back in sharpish, but I guess that's his qualifying completely screwed because he's not going to have time now to get the lap in.
Yeah, indeed.
Right, 2 men down.
Yeah, I'll get rid of his camera for a minute because I mean, I love his shorts and stuff like that, but he won't appreciate the fact that we show his butt on screen for the whole race. Yeah, well, it comes and goes, doesn't it? We have the problems and things like that. But yeah, fingers crossed that Brazil sort their internet out a bit quick and we get him back on. It was interesting that he got dropped from iRacing before the camera. Like, he frantically tried. You could see he was like, "What's going on?"
That's why he was up. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. We managed to get him up, but then we lost his connection there as well.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, so
fingers crossed he can get back to the back of the grid at the very least, but we'll wait with bated breath. I think that'll be his camera done no matter what now, right? Because he will need to actually activate something on his side to get it back for us.
Exactly, and I think
we'll
he'll probably
if he's in a race or not.
Yeah, I think he'll probably forget to do that when he's rushing.
And we don't want him to worry about it anyway. So no, exactly. So. So that leaves us just with a solitary Jamie Fluke representing Apex Racing Team, as you're seeing on track and qualifying. And we've also got, of course, Kevin Ellis Jr. and Zach Campbell out there representing RLL Esport. I can tell you that Kevin is coming towards the end of his lap at the minute. I'm just on board with him, as you're on board with Jamie Fluke. And unsurprisingly, they're both at kind of pretty similar points in the track, being that they are all in solo qualifying.
Yeah, so far on the first lap, not bad. I think the guys will be relatively happy with that. Sort of 9th, 10th, 13th, so they hope for some improvements in this one. But just to come back to your very early point, which obviously I interrupted because of what was going on with Jeff. Yeah, epic race last week. Obviously, we didn't get as much sort of movement as we were kind of expecting. And of course, Kevin unfortunately having some bad luck, so did Johan again, and then of course with Johan's penalty now, like the man's just having no luck whatsoever. He's absolutely on the bubble. We've got 2 rounds to go, so this is really going to put him on his back foot. He's going to need to have one amazing final round of the championship to try and hold on to his license. So is Jamie finishing up? Zach gets a good lap. So does Kevin moves forward, and Jamie as well.
I'm guessing everyone's laps are going to be quicker from the looks of it. Yeah. We'll see where we end up. Kevin had a big moment coming off the final chicane, so it was fortunate that actually the finish line obviously is very close to the final chicane, so he didn't really lose too much momentum. But yeah, we'll see how it all pans out as the laps are coming in. The guys are getting shuffled down the order a little bit. Josh Rogers currently at the top.
Yeah. Rogers, Collins, he's been there all season. Seb, Warren, Then it's Jim.
I'm seeing Jeff Giassi connected to iRacing again for information, so hopefully he will be able to at least take the start. We'll see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, won't have time for a lap, which is a shame.
No, of course.
But especially if lap 2 is the faster one as well, he's not really going to get anything. But yeah, at least he's in the race and he's got a chance.
So it looks like the lap times have finished trickling in. There's just a few seconds left in the session, so we'll kind of wait with bated breaths as to whether anyone else jumps in at the last second. But at the minute, Jamie looking very, very strong, 5th on the grid. Zach and Kevin both got shuffled down to 15th and 16th. Just a 100th apart, Alex, between the two RL Esport guys.
Yeah, nothing between them.
That's pretty
just
crazy.
trying to judge
lap.
Body language and things like that to see how they're feeling. Because I mean,
look a bit muted.
Yeah, I was about to say they're nearly a second off Rogers, and I don't think they would kind of be expecting that. So
what I was about to say is, if they're nearly a second off in 15th, 16th, look at Fluke's gap on the screen on your left, half a second, and he's only in 5th place. So like there's a crazy gap between like 1st and 4th. You know, so that's where a lot of the time of that 1 second that you're seeing has gone. So that's crazy. There's such a big gap in those like top 4 positions there. But as I say, it's a long lap, so you know, half that maybe for a more traditional lap, and we're looking at more like 2.5 tenths. But even so, interesting.
But yeah, Zach, I think is quite bullish going into this one of a decent result. Obviously, he was not a fan last week, was he, of the circuit? So
no,
just kind of
made that very clear in his interview at the end.
Yeah. He was just kind of happy to get through it, so I think he'll be looking to kind of drive forward with this one. Yeah, Kevin on his tail will probably be a good sight for him.
So we've actually got another 30 seconds left of qualifying. I think normally it is a 10-minute run, right? So they've maybe made it 12 for this longer circuit here at Le Mans this week. So yeah, 12-minute session here, and then and then of course we got our sprint race and feature race upcoming from there. So again, we'll see exactly how that pans out in terms of the number of laps they managed to get in. Of course, last season, Alex, drama kind of in the first attempt at Le Mans in PESC. So obviously iRacing have corrected that, and they know what they're doing this time around. But we'll see how many laps that's going to entail.
Yeah, obviously it was a controversial, and some people had tested it and knew that they needed the extra fuel, others had not. And, the race at the end, I think the prize winnings and things like that still got handed out, but the race itself kind of scrubbed and rerun. So it was a tricky one. Obviously our guys had done the homework and we knew what we needed to do.
Right, so qualifying has completed. So those positions that we read out a moment ago have stood. So Jamie has kept his 5th place on a grid, so cracking job for him. And then Zach and Kevin have stayed 15th and 16th. So kind of similar to Nürburgring last week, Sebastian Job is the only guy who's really managed to get himself right in amongst the sharp end of the VRS Coanda guys, but Jamie kind of on the periphery there as well. So it's really only Seb and Jamie who's got amongst the 3-5 top Coanda cars. Interesting that Kroenke's a little way down, actually, down in 18th. Graham Carroll all the way down in 26th. Beneke, 29th for Beneke. So that's going to be interesting for Kevin Ellis Jr.'s championship challenge of Beneke there. So Beneke needed a couple of good rounds really to try and push into the top sort of 4.
Right there, 7.
Yeah, Mitchell's at the sharp end. So yeah, Kevin Ellis Jr.
Mitchell, doesn't he, if he can?
Yeah, and it's Dane Warren and Charlie Collins that is really battling with as well. So Charlie Collins P2, Dane Warren P4. So that's Kevin a little bit on the back foot for this sprint race. Right, just a few seconds to go now, I think.
We didn't get Jeff's camera back, unfortunately. I just had a little look just to see if he did reconnect it, but no, he didn't.
No, other priorities. Right, green lights are on. You're watching Jamie Fluke. Let's see how he gets off of 5th on the grid.
Much better start for Jim. He bogged down last time, didn't he? So, you happy with that?
Yeah. And Kevin Ellis Jr. is moving forward as well from 15th.
Past, only past Zach and Thomas as well. Yeah, Dane Warren just popping himself in there. So Jim's got someone to his right. Who's that? That's Blue to Luke. Jeremy won't get run off of there. Seb with an extremely... I think Seb with a slowdown maybe? No? No, just
No, keeps it going.
pretty poor off of the exit. I don't know what that was about. Yeah. Still Jeremy side by side. This is not at all what these guys want. Got clear? Yeah, he's got it.
And I have to say, very clean start from the whole grid. Like no instance of any note whole way through. Everybody surviving and continuing on. Maybe just Josh Thompson, Jack Sedgwick dropped off the back a little bit, but certainly top 20 forward, all looking good. As now they work their way down a monster straight.
See how early they're peaking out. Doesn't look like they are. So they've been given enough gear ratio. It's always an issue, isn't it? That they had, I think, last season that they were just sat there.
Ooh, Kevin got attacked from behind, I think, going into chicane. I'm pretty sure. Seems like it didn't cause him too many problems, but yeah, I'm sure the car behind didn't manage to slow him down.
Yeah, was that Zach? Zach?
I'm not sure.
Behind,
yeah, maybe.
So,
yeah. Or it was Cronke, and now he's dropped back to another one. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Kev needs to make moves as quickly as possible. Obviously, he'll want to try and get towards that sort of top 8, see if he can get some sort of reverse grid position. Yeah, I know the guys are going to be battling ahead, but it's going to have to be quite forceful with it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see an opportunity coming here as the two in front of him, which is Sirico and Tatala battling away. They've obviously been side by side coming onto the back section of the circuit, and now Kevin's boxed in. And what's Zach going to do? Zach's going to have to come alongside him, really try and keep a bit of momentum himself. So they're 2 by 2 now as they work their way down. And how are the guys going to sort themselves out now as Kevin's going to have the inside on Zach? Zach's trying to go around the outside of Sirica, but not quite happening. So actually, Zach made the place on Kevin on that one.
Yeah,
Jamie's still in 5th.
Boxed in and nowhere to go or anything like that. So yeah, the trouble with this type of racing draft. I mean, the guys ahead actually, well, they're still well and truly in this pack. But yeah, Zach having a look around the outside. Yeah, a bit of a draft here. He's gonna have to hold it through this fast right.
If you switch back to Kevin, you'll have a great view of them battling Zach and Sirico in front. Zach having a little bit of a moment on the outside, just about managed to gather it up, and yeah, loses out on that battle this time by. But yeah, it's still looking very clean, I have to say, through the whole field. I'm only seeing one other car who's dropped off the back now on the whole field. Everyone else is just red and orange intervals the whole way through, which means everybody in the whole field are less than half a second apart from each other. So yeah, pretty crazy. Graham Carroll has just dropped to the back a little bit as well, down to 30th. Jeff has gained to 26th.
Yeah, seven spots. This is what I was just having a quick look at. So yeah, good job from Jeff. So I'm just glad to see him back in the race. It would have been a nightmare for him. So again, he's another one that's kind of there or thereabouts. You know, needs to have some good solid races for the rest of these two rounds, and I feel like he will secure his spot for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been panic stations for him when saw that. Go and just check in with Jamie, see where he is. Up behind Dane Warren as the front 5 are all nothing between them. Good run from Jim off the final corner. Dane just got himself all kinds of out of shape, so he concede this so that he doesn't they don't lose the draft. Battling through one, no, he flies in there way too deep to hold it.
That's crazy how deep it was. And just behind, David Williams got a slowdown off the last chicane, so both Zach and Kevin gained a spot on Williams as he had to drop back a little bit.
Giassi just got past Ramstein and Beneke, I think. Actually, those guys had a little issue. Yeah, so he's... Or either they both got past... There's definitely some changes.
Yeah, like I say, yeah, for sure. Jeff's gained at least one more spot since we last looked, for sure. Yeah. Right, and now back onto the draft train again of the main straight, of course, just with a chicane breaking them up halfway through.
Jamie here
on
that rev limiter. Yeah. Close up anymore at that point.
And Kevin's the same as well, as I'm on board with him at the same time. So they're obviously all going to be on the limiter, which got a bit of a dampener onto the race, really, I feel like, because you're just not really going to get much happening for half the circuit, right? If they're all just on the limiter for practically half a lap, it feels like. That's a bit of a shame for the spectacle of what's supposed to be the pinnacle of the iRacing road series that we have here.
Yeah, I'll take it back. I thought they had enough gear ratio, but clearly they haven't. Maybe it's just that first one down the Mulsanne though.
I think Kevin was on the limiter again there. But like I say, I think maybe on lap 1 it wasn't so bad, perhaps, as they were all just scrabbling away a little bit and getting temperatures up to tyres up to temperature and stuff. But no, for sure they're on the limiter now.
Jeff he's super close to La Fuente ahead of him. Yeah, as long as he's kept his cool, Jeff, I'm sure he'll be all right. Battlehead, come on, Jeff. Gonna run. Oh, he was a bit nervous about getting on the gas there. I think he thought perhaps he was going to run into him. There's a one to the left. Gonna have to give him a nudge.
Nowhere to go now. Yeah.
Does push him past. It's the trouble. You get alongside, and then suddenly the car to the side gets the side draft, doesn't he? So yeah, I think Jeff's managed to get La Fuente by, but Azabon's able to get the side draft and defend at least from Jeff. Oh, what's going on? I'm seeing
Ellis Jr. Yeah, if you switch to Ellis Jr., perfect. Yeah, got a great move of view of Zach just making a move around the outside there of Sirico, and actually Kevin's managed to follow him through as well. So yeah, just about managed to crawl his way past. I don't know if Sirico's going to be able to hold on to that on the right hand side. He's still there in our blind spot on our screen, and we'll see where he appears right here as they turn in. Kevin takes the apex, so yeah, he's fine, and I think that's a spot gain for the two of them up to 13th and 14th now.
You know, I have to say, obviously, we everybody knows why we kind of changed the way we do to these onboard shots for these ART broadcasts and things like that we're doing. But just make it a little bit more exciting for me. Like when I'm watching it, I'm a bit more tense. Because I'm like, is he going to turn in? Is he not going to turn in? Like, where's the guy going to suddenly appear? I'm like, oh, please don't get turned. You just can't see. The beauty of, obviously, the broadcast cameras is we've got a good idea whether or not he was going to be clear or what. But, yes, I'm a bit more anxious watching this.
For sure. And 6th and 7th, Bootsloop and De Jong just switching places. So, actually, that's Mitchell dropping back to his original starting position now. But, yeah, Jamie's still looking very solid there in that spot.
Yeah, not really sure what these guys can do. You know, they just need to pick off these mistakes because, yeah, there's just no good gaps. Oh, sorry. A little bit of a gap, half a second for Jim. If he's just sort of struggling ever so slightly to keep with these guys. They're all slipstreaming each other. I wonder if Collins is actually bump drafting Rogers here as well.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the interval, see how that looks. I haven't noticed it getting down right to the 0.0.2, but it's doing it right now. Collins actually just coming past. So yeah, Collins back into lead right as you said.
Yeah, that'll hold up this little pack ever so slightly. Go through here. But yeah, obviously the comment on the channel there, obviously about it being a bit boring with the guys on the rev limiter.
Yeah.
Got to agree.
I agree. Yeah. Seems a real pretty basic error on iRacing side on that one. I have to say I'm not sure offhand how much flexibility they got gear ratios. Alex, I don't know if you do, but I'm sure they must get a longer one on, right?
They changed it for the Nordschleife, right? So was that?
Yeah, Austin's just the same, I guess.
Go on, Jim, send it. They obviously Warren checked up there. And Jamie full in, but then Dane just getting off the brakes just to try and defend. But full on, go for it.
Yeah, he's going for
it
again.
If they're gonna just sit there and try not to run into their teammates, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah. And like I said, but even I mean, they kind of weren't sitting there that time by. So what, during that lap where Collins take the lead, Seb took the lead for a moment, and then Josh Rogers back in front. So the top positions now are swapping back and forth. And so it was crazy the difference between P1 and P2 on the draft. Collins gained half a second just in one of the sections of straight as he took the lead. It was pretty crazy.
Seb's worked his way up to second.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to make it interesting. His final lap, of course, so it is go time. It's the thing with these short races. Come on, Jamie got a run. Oh, he's got to go around the outside. He's been here before. Remember last season, of course, he was 3 wide. He was on the outside here, and he got absolutely sent. So, old Dane, he's good on the brakes. I'll give him that.
And just while watching that, just having a quick look at the timing screen again, Jeff Gassi battling for 22nd place,
side by
making
side.
a couple more spots. Yeah, instant in front between guys just in front of it's Tatella and Beckham. Sorry, were squabbling away as well.
Don't know if Jeff's going to hold on to this one, but I've got to go to Jamie, I'm afraid, because of where we are. Just because Jeff's not got any draft. I'm looking at the time in Delta. Lafuente's coming back at him. Jamie doesn't look like he's going to do anything.
Kevin, let's switch to Kevin.
Oh,
yeah, we've got a good view there. So Zach was almost 3 wide coming into Indianapolis there, having a little think about it, in contact between the Lego car.
Please miss, everyone miss. Jeff miss. Jeff. Yeah, Jeff through. Oh, that was Salva, I think.
And another car off Sanchez.
Oh, Sanchez
out as well.
Oh.
So it's all happening. Sanchez didn't lose.
Sorry, Backham. Yeah, so the Lego car falling down.
Yeah, no, Sanchez has fallen all the way to the back. My mistake. So yeah, guys crossing the finish line momentarily, but yeah, it all kicked off there in the closing seconds of the lap. So that's Jamie kept 5th. Unfortunately, nobody fell off in front of him. But yeah, Zach and Kevin suddenly jumped up to 10th and 11th. And Jeff Gassi from back of the grid, 18th position, 15 positions gained from his starting spot. Cracking job from Jeff there.
Yeah,
so,
that is what the doctor ordered for Jeff. He's given himself, a chance to get some points and things like that in the feature. So yeah, good job. And like you say, yeah, Zach and Kev getting some places right on the depth there. Not quite into the into 8th. So Pinto is the one that's going to get the reverse grid, but Jamie in a good position. Seb couldn't get Rogers for the front. So yeah, all in all, that was a pretty good race.
Well, it was a pretty good, last 5th of the final lap. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
It was pretty good in terms of the team results. Sorry, if you meant team results, yeah, Jeff did well.
Pretty much.
Guys moved forward. Jamie.
I mean, the race was boring, but yeah.
The race was a bit. Yeah, it was a bit underwhelming, I'm afraid. So I'd say it was a good, clean start from the whole field. But equally, it meant there wasn't kind of much happening. And yeah, I can't believe they just sat on the limiter the whole way. Yeah, it's such a shame. So. Hey, we'll have some more action in the feature race coming up in a few minutes' time for sure, because like Alex mentioned, we got the top 8 reversed, so we're going to have the Rogers and the Sebastian Jobs of the world who are going to be keen to get straight back up to the front again, and with the draft trainers we saw, it's not easy because everyone apart from leaders got that draft.
Not 100% sure, but I think that is now Rogers confirmed, right, as champ.
It's got to be. I mean, looking at the points
close
coming
into last time.
Coming to this round, he was 130 odd, 140 points nearly in front, and now he's got just two feature races and 1 sprint race between the 2 remaining rounds left. So yeah, that's got to be Rogers confirmed now. Looking very, very good for him. I didn't actually quite catch if Seb got second in the end, Alex. I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
So that's given him a big boost for his challenge for getting second position as well, because De Jong was only 21 points ahead coming in. So that's given Seb a decent chunk out of there straight away.
Right, let's just quickly head over to our partners, Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy. We will be back in about 5 minutes' time, hopefully. 5 minutes time, for the feature race. Stay with us.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to Pitch Racing TV and the RLL and ART stream. This penultimate round of the Porsche Esports Supercup. Simpson Lee Thompson bringing you the action on board with all of our guys. Of course, we're excluding Johan because of his unfortunate penalty for this round. But yeah, Lee, good. Like I say, good first race for us. Good, all the points. Jeff, specifically after coming from the back off that qualifier, getting back up, that was an absolutely amazing performance there. I was just having a quick look at the championship standings, courtesy of Sim Racing Wiki. Very much to the guys there for putting that together. Not updated after the sprint, but yeah, Kevin obviously going into this one 5 points clear of Dane and Charlie Collins, so I think like he's probably lost out to those guys now.
Yeah,
so he's got some work to do really in this race to see if he can claw himself back in front of them. Benecke fair bit behind them. Zach not too far behind Benecke, so actually Zach could have moved up ahead of Max. So yeah, good job on there. Graham not really having the greatest race either, so yeah, that's a good job. Obviously Jamie we know had a good race, so where is Jim in the championship? 16th, just ahead of Jeff. Yeah, so obviously gained on Pinto, gained on Backen, gained on Tatala, and ever so slightly on Bootsloop as well. So yeah, that was a good race for Jamie. So I don't know if he's jumped these guys, but he's getting closer to them. So he's giving himself some breathing room for that top 20. And yeah, Jeff will have picked up a few points as well. And with Johan not around, pulled away from there. Callan's obviously involved in something right at the end. David Williams has got a fair few points that he needs to catch up on his second. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be tasty final round of the season for for Johan. Looking at this, he's going to absolutely have to drive his socks off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, as I said, how it exactly shakes out. Jamie got 15 points for his 5th spot in that sprint race, so it wouldn't have been enough to obviously leap the guys ahead of him, apart from Pinto, but it sure would have brought him a big chunk closer. What would Jeff have scored? And Jeff got just like a few points, like 3-4 points. But yeah, I think for Kevin in 4th, I mean, that's looking tough now for him to try and retain that 4th spot kind of anytime soon. Dane Warren and Charlie Collins have jumped ahead of him now. But, like you say, it's only really him and Zach then that I see battling for the 6th spot. And now with Beneke being right at the back of the grid, as well as Carol on that time by. So yeah, we'll see how the feature pans out in just a couple of minutes, and it'll be interesting to review the points again after that. But yeah, looking pretty good for everyone. You know, solidifying their top 20 kind of requirements to make sure they qualify for next season, hopefully.
Yeah, not sure who we're going to start the race off with. Probably Kev, actually. Maybe Jeff, I don't know. They're all kind of in and amongst it. First lap is I think we'll go with Jeff, because, you know, we'll be able to see something if something goes on. Where is Jeff right now? Last little bit of practice. We've got about a minute left until we have to start gridding. Obviously, if you've got any questions for us here, want to know anything about any of the drivers, we've got some dirt, we can dish it. By all means, ask us. But yeah, any questions you might have about the team or anything that we're doing, or how to get involved in like these series and things like that. Anything you may want to ask. I'll try our best to answer it for you.
As best we can, like you say. I have to say, I don't know about you, Alex, but I didn't really hear a huge amount from the guys for the preparation for this week. And I wonder if part of the reason was because they just knew it was just going to be a bit of a write-off with the rev limiter issue, Perhaps they weren't really seeing. Yeah, I can imagine they perhaps weren't looking forward to this round a huge amount, because they just saw that there wasn't really going to be an opportunity to move forward. It was all going to be about qualifying. We know how VRS Coanda have got it absolutely sussed with their qualifying preparation, and I'm sure that's just what their focus was all week. I would imagine was how can we match them in qualifying, and then it's just everyone sitting the draft all race and seeing who gets through the last sort of 10 corners,
Well, I have to say, I guess we're going to find out exactly what the preparation was like, because, Kevin Ellis Jr., our superstar from Scotland, has been vlogging his whole week with the build-up as well. So, I think we'll be premiering that video shortly after the race today. So you'll get a bit of a behind the scenes as to kind of what's gone on and things like that. So yeah, keep a little eye out for that on the channel. But yeah, and then Jamie give his little insight on Twitter as well. So go follow the drivers. Right, revs are building. I'm hearing lights are coming on. Come on, Jeff, get a stormer here, mate. Oh, look like a pretty good start. Everybody else seems pretty good around him. Jamie held his position.
Jamie held his spot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pinto got a shocker. He's dropped 2 already.
Yeah, and Seb dropped 2 spots as well. So Seb is trying to regain ground instantly, but Zach might be going around the outside of him. Oh, Seb has a big moment as well, big step out. And Zach can spot on Seb up tonight.
Looks like he's okay. You still got Lockwood to the left-hand side of him.
Yeah, looks like he's got that spot now, I think.
Alright, still side by side. Yeah, and I tell you what, I think Brian will get the better run here as well, so he'll have him down here. They're almost a second behind already.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, indeed. Lockwood is through. They'll still be in the draft. Beneke's right behind.
And Kevin pressuring Seb as well. Sorry to interrupt, Alex.
Yeah, let's go and have a little look at that one. I think while they've got the gap, we'll tell you if Beneke seems to be alongside.
Zach Campbell on Oscard in front as well that we're going to see. So Zach on the inside, can he get it turned in and stop enough? Oscard's I think going to have a high ground as they come through the midsection of the chicane, and he does. Zach can't quite get the drive off. He's hung in there actually. I thought he dropped back.
Oh, they're
a
bashing.
little tag. Yeah, banging door handle to door handle between Oscard and Zach. Seb's job is going to have nowhere to go. Goes to the left, but the grass is going to be there pretty soon, I think. And let's see how they manage to
try and go for them both.
He's still trying to keep his nose in there, but he has to just settle back in at the end. And Kevin, I feel like, is just hanging back a couple of attempts, just waiting to see how this pans out as they get on the brakes.
I think that's sensible driving there from
Seb. So somehow Sebastian Job just sneaking straight round the outside on Oscard. Cracking move there, I have to say. But Zach is already looking to move forward and is chasing down Rogers. Here comes Kevin.
Getting freight trained a little bit, trying to just tag on. Yeah, he did.
And glancing back at Jeff Gassi, that 1 second that they lost has already completely disappeared. They just gained it all back straight away in the draft. It's all back to one train.
Sarika around the outside of Kev here. You can't see him. There he is. So.
And Zach off on the gravel, so I think Sebastian Job's going to get a good run on him as they come off the corner there as well, just in front of Oscar. And we can still see, like you say, Sarika there in the left-hand corner, just inside that A pillar. I think Kev's got the draft with Oscar, but now it's just drifting away from him. We'll see where Sarika's going to appear.
This is Zach. So yeah, you're right. Seb did get him.
Oh, and Oscard, is he going to get stopped behind Zach? Oh, he just does. I thought he was going to run into the back of Campbell there as I was watching on board behind with Kevin Ellis, but just about got it stopped despite the rear protesting the whole time on the braking. Jamie did lose one spot to Dane Warren at some point of the way, so he's back down to 5th.
Yeah, let's just check in with Jim.
Looking like that's pretty tasty just ahead of him as well. He might well be able to pick up some scraps here as they're squabbling away.
So, back a second, but I don't think that's slam dunk. To leave again. Oh, absolute freight trained out there. Get up on the inside there. Oh.
So close, hitting his nose on the inside. Such a fast, corner to be taking, and that car to be on the outside. He knew not being able to track out at all. That was tough. But Jamie, just about managed to keep it tight enough for that time by. So, 5th, 9th, 11th, 19th at the minute for the boys after almost getting to the end of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jeff on the outside of turn 2, that's where he put him under pressure. He lost the whole pressure. They didn't lose places, but...
Ooh, Zach having a moment on the chicane. Lost a lot of time, but actually Oscard wasn't able to capitalise that time. So, fortunately, all stayed as they were, and Zach should be able to get the draft back on Seb imminently.
What with Kevin? Just if you wonder who we're watching, you can usually tell by the little green indicator in the relative tower on the left, and usually by the dashboard. Right. Mitchell in the lead. Obviously, that is important for him and Seb in terms of their little battle for second in the championship. I feel like Jamie's going to come under a fair bit of pressure from Collins and Rogers fairly soon. I think Jim could probably hold off Collins, but I think it's Rogers extremely good on the brakes. That's the issue. Not quite the exit he wanted off of there, I'd have said.
No, they all look fairly kind of static between everyone, I think, coming through there as far as I could see. Yeah, Jamie just closing back in on Pinto. Pinto obviously been shuffled down 3 spots so far.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Run on Lockwood. Want to pull out, want to go for it. 6/10 gap. Oh, it's absolutely peaked out. Look, it just couldn't do nothing. You know.
Must be
So
so frustrating. Yeah. Yeah, what are you supposed to do? You pull out and you're on the limiter. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, and then all that happened was, you know, got to the limiter as well, and they just sat there, you know, side by side, not able to do anything. Oh, nice little cutback.
Yeah,
Come on,
James
Jeff.
Luke, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff on the inside a lot, but this time send one down.
And Jamie just gaining a spot on Dane Warren to go back up to 4th. Alex, as we were watching Jeff there as well, so good job from Jamie there. It looked like it was on the same corner as we saw Jeff make his move.
I feel like Jamie got to make moves. I mean, Dane's going to come back to him here.
Ooh,
Oh, they're 3
wide.
wide for the lead. So, where's Dane, left or right? Can't really tell. I say he's still left. No,
I think he's still, I think he's behind. Yeah, he is fine. Yeah.
Pinto
Yeah,
definitely
so,
being a bit more racy in these last couple of meetings. Obviously, it was the first time we really saw him in the top 5 at Nürburgring, and you know, yeah, it's showing that those Williams boys have, you know, have got something.
Found something. Yeah, seems like they've just stepped it up a little bit with Status Ricker up the front end there as well for him. Zach Campbell's under a fair bit of pressure from Osgard at the minute as they work their way down towards a super fast right-hander, and Osgard just stick his nose up the inside, as we can see riding on board with Kevin Ellis Jr. But yeah, Zach actually managed to keep the apex speed mid-corner and drive off it a little bit. We can see a blue flasher Jamie Fluke just up ahead there, just watching those top 3 cars still as they finish squabbling for the moment.
Having a little think.
Such a Mickey Mouse little 2 chicanes there coming onto the front straight.
The only reason I hate it is just because it seems to cause so much random damage, you know. So I remember the Le Mans. I think it was a couple of years ago. Like me, Johan, I think Tom were doing it. We were ridiculously quick, and then like after about 4 laps or something like that, there's nothing in the race. We got chassis damage, you know. And it's just like, well, that's the whole thing done. You know, you can't get it. And it was nothing, you know, you didn't even feel it, hear it, or anything. And yeah.
So yes, they stayed all pretty status quo since the moves were done from Jeff and Jamie sort of half a lap ago as they work their way back onto the never-ending straight again. Again, still not really any breaks in the field, so everyone's managing to stay in the draft. And in fact, I say not really any breaks. Actually, we don't even have anyone off the back of the field this time. So all the way down to 33rd, they're 2.5, 3 tenths apart.
I was looking at the mini map earlier and just thinking, well, that's useless.
yeah.
It's just like, it's just a snake, isn't it? That's all it is. But yeah, they're so close, you can't even see the numbers apart.
No, we'll say there's basically no field spread in this at all. It seems like. So obviously longer race this time for the feature. So yeah, right, they've got 4 to go still as we're halfway through this one. Who am I seeing challenging up ahead there? I think it was Sebastian Job and Dane Warren looking super close as they're side by side coming through the chicanes. So Seb is gradually moving his way forward in the Red Bull Racing eSports car.
So, and it looks like Fluke is going to come under the cosh from
Yeah, Josh Rogers
as well. So yeah, Fluke having to go on
Fluke's got to run on Boots Loop. Yeah. So here we go, all changing as we're on board with Jamie Fluke. You can tell he still had the car on the inside because he just wasn't able to turn into the corner. But didn't quite get the drive off either, but he should be able to hang in there as they come up to the next section. Actually, kind of then gaining, and perhaps he got a whisper of draft more than Bootslip did.
Yeah, I think with Pinto just sort of moving over to the left, he's sort of splitting it. Yeah, Rogers now. Oh, right on him. Jamie's going to have to hold it around the outside here, I think. Choice. Otherwise he'll lose to Rogers too.
Yeah, and they're just stacked up 2 by 2, so behind Jamie they're side by side as well, and just all the cars behind now starting to stack up. Zach Campbell side by side, Kevin Ellis is side by side, so they're literally 2 by 2 from like 4th down to 12th as they came through right-hander there. I think
Sure, Bootsleep's going to move across here and help his teammate. He does. He's
yeah.
just towing the guys ahead. But, yeah. I think he's going to have to really hold it around the outside or just seed and slip in.
Oh, what's going on? Warren
Ooh.
and Warren. Yeah, something.
Yeah,
On board with
yeah,
Kevin.
no, Dane Warren, like you say, falling back. So yeah, Kevin nipped ahead of him. Just got pushed down to the outside, and Zach Campbell getting pushed into the wall by Seb Job. I wouldn't like to say it was. I didn't get a good enough view of it, so I'm not saying
No, me
Seb
neither.
pushed him into the wall, but that was the effect that happened.
We'll
And
take a look at that
Zach,
afterwards, I think.
yeah, Zach managed to I think just about avoid contact.
yeah.
I can't see any damage as we are, but yeah, that's cost them a fair bit of time. They've dropped second back now on Charlie Collins in 6th, but oof, that looked pretty lucky for them to not get. We see it quite a lot where cars get connected on iRacing, don't we, as well? They easily could have just end up pulling each other into the wall, and that would have been that.
Yeah, that's the worst actually.
When you just get that tiny little overlap on the sort of like quarter panel and it just kind of like, yeah, you just can't get away from each other. It's the worst.
Ever so slightly hot to two there. A little bit of time, so Collins will be right on his chuffer going down the first of the Malta.
And I don't know if you mentioned it already. Sorry, Alex, but yeah, Graham Carroll has looks like he's in pit, I think, or is at the back of the field, so he's had an issue somewhere on that lap.
Yeah, no, not mentioned it. So yeah, Graham, and it looks like Walters as well, Benecki, all of them losing it on that lap.
Right, let's see how the leaders deal with the straight this time by De Jong, Pinto, Bootloop, all just closing on each other, of course, so they're about to be overlapping.
Pinto is in a really, really strong position here. All these guys are worried about tripping over each other. Pinto's just like, well, you know, I'll just throw it wherever.
Exactly. They're going to be worried about tripping over each other because they're teammates. They're all, you know, battling at the sharp end of the championship. Yeah, Pinto's got nothing to lose. Throw it in, mate. Get going.
I can imagine them, you know, muttering underneath their breath, you know, like, I mustn't do it here, you know.
Yeah. Spoiling our fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be the same, absolutely. Yeah. Go on, son, have a go. Yeah, especially, you know, Rogers not going to care. Of course, I think he's got it wrapped up. But, oh,
Yeah,
Jamie's
yeah.
got a good run here, though. Maybe it's him that's going to mix it. And then the
Almost.
draft kicks in and just
Yeah.
nullifies it. Yeah, I think he's got to be careful here because Collins is close enough that if he tries to go wide, Collins can throw it up the inside.
Oh, Jamie's trying to hang around the outside as he goes in. Yeah, just didn't quite manage to get the run off the corner.
Run off.
Yeah, but 3 wide now in front again. And
Oh,
how quickly
where'd
Jamie's
he
closing
go?
on him. Holy
Yeah, where'd
crap.
you go here?
Yeah. There's an accident waiting. This is where, of course, Jamie had a big accident, wasn't he? He was the car in the middle here.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
what?
oh, and there's
It's
more
two-
appearing. Oh,
Well,
there we go.
Seb.
Jamie scrapes through. Kevin and Zach scrape through. Does Jeff get through? I'm watching him fall down the order. Jeff is hanging on in there. Jeff, I think, survived. Oof. That could have been a lot worse. I did not see as much movement on the timing tower as I expected. I expected to see more and more cars appear. But fortunately, I guess they just must have stuck to the wall on the left.
I think it was, yeah.
Dane Warren
It was
just
Seb
nipping ahead of
and-
Kevin Ellis during that as well.
Who was that? Was that Seb and someone, wasn't it?
It was Bootsloop, I think. So yeah, Seb and Bootsloop. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they managed to
So,
managed to survive. Pair of them.
God knows
so.
how. I've got no idea how they're not at the back of the field and towed to pits
Dead.
after that. That was crazy. Yeah, exactly. And again, like Jamie will be thinking that because, as we were in the middle of saying, he experienced exactly that same thing last year and just got wiped out completely, right? So
Yeah, he'd have
they
been
were
having
very lucky boys.
deja vu all over it
Yeah.
again. So I didn't see. I jumped off Jamie, actually. I wonder if Jamie just got the hell out of there, you know?
Yeah,
like,
nope. He lost a spot to Tommy, right? So through that, Jamie's lost a spot to Jamie Collins, to Charlie Collins and to Tommy Osgaard. So, like I say, he had to get out of the way, and I think the others just managed to continue that momentum, unfortunately. So that actually didn't work out amazing for us. Zach and Kevin gained a spot each, but yeah, Jamie just losing a couple.
Oh, not a good line through the final chicane for Zach. You want to that?
I think Seb's got damage. He's falling down the order still, Alex. So he was 13th, now he's down to 16th. Yes, he just got by him up to that 15th spot.
Going to make his run for second in the championship quite difficult with Mitchell
Yeah,
currently sat
he's
at
falling,
the top of the
he's just
table.
dropping back. Yeah, falling like a stone now is Sebastian. Seemed like he was alright to start with, but once they kind of crossed the start-finish line, that was it really. He's fallen down. So yeah, not
early for the guys to be making those kind of rash moves. I mean, they were 3 wide, 2 deep, you know?
Yeah.
It looked like they were almost trying to go for like 4 or 5 spots in one go. You know, I understand on the last lap you get a bit desperate, but
yeah,
always risky.
So
business.
I'd say we've still got time to see that desperation ramp up again, you know, because like say the guys now have got say lap and a half to go. They're in exactly the same situation where they're all going to just end up on top of each other, and they've got a little bit of time for, like say, that desperation to build as they're still getting stuck behind each other. And I bet we're going to see the same thing again on the final lap, like you say.
Pinto still in the middle of it, and just sort of hold into that top 3. Roger's actually got to the front there as well, and he was in that second pack because he was alongside Jamie, right? So, yeah. Lester runs off there, and Warren having a little look. You can see in the mirrors, he's edging closer and closer and closer and closer, but yeah, just can't quite get there. Jamie looking again on Osgaard.
Side by side in front of Jamie, I think, isn't it? Almost anyway, between was it Collins and Pinto, I think, because they come off chicane, so it didn't quite happen that time. And Mac Backham falling down the field, Sebastian Job falling down more spots, so yeah, it looks like Backham and Job are just out now, really. Yeah.
Perhaps Seb's chance up, I think. Mitchell where he is. Crazy points gained in the final round.
Fluke just gaining a spot on Osgaard, trying to anyway, side by side still, I suspect, but it's technically in front as we speak. Here we go, on board. And got the spot. Yeah, he's going to look for another one.
Oh,
Jamie.
You know, I feel like you're safer on the inside, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's kind of how much of safe really is there in that situation, but yeah, rather be on the inside than the outside.
Is that Tommy? Oh, it was Campbell that's alongside Seb.
Yes, yeah,
and
he's
Campbell
suddenly gained a couple of spots.
Around the outside of Pinto. Oh, there they are! That's into the wall, surely.
Zach not hit the tyre barrier.
Yeah,
I've got no idea how Zach would... oh, but Jamie's got damage there.
Yeah, that was from Tommy, actually. Yeah,
damage.
Just had a little side swipe.
And Jamie's under pressure now from Warren and Kevin behind him as well, so it's going to be tough. Jamie's still got to get through that, the whole lap still with that damage now. If he's got any top speed loss, then he's going to be really under pressure. But yeah, suddenly Zach out of nowhere moving up into that 6th spot. That was crazy.
I wonder if we jump on board with Zach. He's in a similar position. No, his car looks alright.
Yeah.
End that we can see anyway.
Looks right.
But it did look like him and Pinto rubbed into the tyre barrier ever so slightly. So yeah.
I was on board with Kevin watching Zach, and there was no reaction from the car, but it was millimetre away from the wall as he come off the corner. It was just crazy.
Well, it's final lap.
Final lap. Yeah. We both react to the spotter telling a scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 6th, 7th for Zach and Jamie, 9th for Kevin, Jeff Giassi in 15th as they have this final lap to go. I feel like the top 10 were pretty lucky to survive that lap as well with that squabbling. I think, like I say, we're going to see exactly the same thing at exactly the same corner on this final lap. Let's see how Jamie copes, by the way, as we come off the final corner onto the straight. Is he just going to get dropped? Hopefully not.
15th now, so he's
15th,
be
yeah.
in this one. Like I say, job well done for Jeff, you know, to come from where he did. Yeah, let's see. Come on, Jim. Let's hope this is.
Dane Warren lit up the rears completely. Kevin's got an opportunity to get a run him if he doesn't hit the limiter first. He's alongside already. Jamie needs to move across and give Kevin the draft, which he just about does. I think they're going to be on the limiter now and stuck side by side.
At the moment, he's got enough clear. They're both on the limiter now.
Yeah, they're just side by side.
Whether or not Kevin's got enough to clear him. Being very good on the brakes. I think he has got enough to clear him. And
Yeah,
does
gets
take
him,
the apex.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, and all just because Dane had a huge moment coming onto the straight, so like 45-degree angle practically trying to get on the power. But actually Kevin didn't get a great exit off that chicane, but he should be safe.
I don't know. Attempt versus attempt. Might just stick his nose out. Seems to be able to get quite the run.
No, staying at 700s, down to 800s, 900s. So yeah, I think.
Oh, Kev just a bit deep. It's not going to be the good exit that he wants. I think
No.
Dane will have a really good run here. So he just needs to block
Actually,
that
wasn't
inside.
super close though, was Dane? Coming off the corner, still a tenth and a half back as they come off. So we'll see.
Might be what Kev needs actually to be able to get a a good run, constantly down and not held up. He's Dane up the inside. Needs to cover that off. If he holds it round the outside, though, he'll have the better
All
exit.
smoke
What's
ahead.
going on?
All car off onto gravel. Dane got that spot on Kevin, and that's Charlie Collins falling down the order, who was off on the gravel. So yeah, net zero for Kevin, but one more spot gained for Zach Campbell and Jamie Fluke in front, 5th and 6th. Kevin trying to come back again. It's the same thing. So it seems like the same mistake that Kevin just made a minute ago. Dane Warren's just kind of allowed Kevin up the inside there, and so we'll see how this pans out.
Dane's still
Oh
holding
wow,
it on
Dane
there.
Warren's so much quicker through that little kink.
Yeah, I'll give Dane credit where credit is due in this race. He's been extremely good on the brakes.
Oh,
The
Jamie!
guys are tripping over each other in
Yeah,
front of them.
yeah. Jamie was lucky there, as Dane Warren had to kind of dive to the right to not go in the back of him. Unfortunately, had the space to do it, and Jamie the awareness not to turn into the apex. But yeah, squabbling away. I have to say that wasn't as crazy as it might have been. But here we go. Top three are all 3 wide. How are we going to shuffle like this? De Jong, Rogers, Osgaard.
Oh, they've gone.
VRS
Someone's
car
gone.
out. De Jong
De Jong.
out.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
Zach Campbell sticking his nose in still. P4 trying to get that nose on Pinto.
Oh.
Jamie Fluke still under pressure from Dane Warren. Jamie has a huge moment coming off the corner. Somehow keeps the power in. Jamie's going to run wide, pushes Dane Warren off. Jamie just struggling to maintain control. Dane Warren's lost 2 spots, down to 8th. Zach Campbell up to 3rd. Oh, crash in front. Where did that come from? Going to be a huge incident behind Alex. Everyone's going to get
lost
caught up,
Fluke.
I'm sure.
Lost Fluke.
Yeah, Fluke's
Yeah, see,
down.
up to 9th, so at least we've got a bit of a recovery from that. Zach, I think, is going to get a podium. So Rogers is going to win. He's going to do a double. That will absolutely cement him with his world championship. But I think Zach will be happy with that. I need to see what happened to Jamie, because he fell all the way down to 21st
Yeah,
on that. So I'm
that was
gutted for him.
That was crazy. So Jamie had a big moment coming round onto the off the left-hander, sorry. Couldn't quite gather it back up in time to not drift out on Dane Warren. And then all of a sudden, Jamie, I'm on board with Kevin Ellis Jr. Jamie moves to the right, and there's just a car sat in the middle of a track, or coming back onto track. I've got no idea where he came from. So let's have a look at the off-board shot. There you go. Just T-boned Jamie completely. That was unfortunate for Pinto though, because we were singing his praises all race long, how he was the only guy really up there mixing it properly with VRS, and he managed to do it until 2 corners from the end. Who knows? Of course, we only saw the aftermath of it, so we don't know why Pinto went off. Maybe he got bumped off. But
Let's see if I can find this. Oh, you know what?
ooh, who was okay?
Let me look. Oh, I'm going to wind it back. Sorry, you'll have to look at the controls. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Who cares?
That's right. We can't see the controls because of the
true.
You're fine. You're fine. So yeah, so let's have a look then. Did Zach drift out a bit too much? Did Pinto pinch in a little bit too much? There's a little bit. Oh, Zach just got in. Yeah, that was a mistake from Zach, unfortunately, I think. he wasn't anything like far enough ahead to get his nose in and turn Pinto around. So Zach's a good lad anyway. I'm sure when he comes in for interview, I think he's going to hold his hands up straight away and say, yeah, I stuck my nose in thinking there was going to be a gap, and it didn't quite form as I'd hoped. That's a shame. Here's another on board from Jamie as he gets T-boned. And life has a funny way of working. Teammates. Zach Campbell is the one that kind of just stuck his nose in slightly, and his teammate Jamie Flukes the one that paid the second biggest price to Pinto. So we will have to wait and see how stewards and penalties and things shape out. I think Zach is gonna obviously be penalised from that podium spot that he finished. Kevin should be pretty safe. I don't recall seeing anything particularly from Kevin. Jamie had that little push on Dane Warren that only cost Dane a couple of spots. He didn't have any damage from it, so hopefully Jamie will be okay from that. But obviously finishing position for Jamie kind of makes that a little bit irrelevant anyway. Yeah, I mean, kind of as we said, really, Alex, wasn't it? It's we just knew kind of how the race was gonna develop. It's that exact section of track every lap, pretty much, and the guys just end up free wide, and it's just not a place really you can successfully do it, consistently anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You see it every time, don't you? Every time here, so it's not unsurprised to kind of see it again. Right then, well, we'll see if we can get some guys in for a chat. But yeah, while we wait that, we'll just head to our partners again. But yeah, we'll be back in about 5 minutes' time, hopefully for a bit of a post-race debrief with chaps. So yeah, stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the Apex Racing and RLL Esport stream post-race show. Just waiting for the guys just to kind of have a bit of debrief. Jamie finished his stream. Hopefully we can get Jeff on for a little chat because he's had a great run. And then yeah, possibly Kev as well would be really good. I'm sure Zach will come, but of course he's speaking to
The Overlords.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I say, just waiting for the guys to rock up. Yeah, so a little bit kind of mixed feelings, I'm sure, for the guys after that one. Say, kind of 2 cars technically finishing in the top 5. Obviously, cracking result for the feature, but yeah, we'll see how, unfortunately, like, penalties and things are going to shake out. We'll have to wait till kind of next week's broadcast to report on how those turned out, really. Yeah, just big heartache for Jamie, having been so strong. Like, not, and it wasn't just like he lucked into like a decent reverse grid spot for the feature. Like, he was, you know, right up sharp end in the sprint, up there in the feature as well. And then with 20 seconds of the lap left. Unfortunately, that was
pretty
it.
much sums up Jamie's season. Like, anytime he's been towards the front, he's just got involved in something, you know?
Yeah.
That's totally not his fault. Like, that was just completely out of his control. Just a car, just, you know, that really just sums everything up. All right. We are joined by Mr. Kevin Ellis Jr. that would have had an absolute perfect view of kind of what was going on that final lap, like when absolute all hell broke loose. Let me just bring him up onto the onto the main screen. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. You look a bit hot, mate.
I'm a bit exhausted after that. It was all kind of calm and plain sailing there for the most part, and then that last lap, everything just kicked off, which me and George kind of knew it would, but yeah, I had a bit too good of a view of that final crash, unfortunately. Yeah, I just tried to follow Jamie through it because I thought he'd have a better view of it, and I ended up just going straight through the back of him, and when he hit Diogo, I kind of went through the back of him and forced him off, but having a look at it, Diogo's rejoin is terrible. It's one of the worst things I think I've ever seen. So if he doesn't get a race ban for that, I'll be pretty upset because he's been tipped around, he's just kept his foot in it, and he's just come straight back onto the track and wiped out a bunch of cars. Yeah, there's no need for that. Just hold the brake, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't see it on that. Obviously, we were looking at what caused it rather than the aftermath of it. So
Yeah.
which I'm sure the stewards will have a little look for sure. I mean, I was looking at points and things like that going into this one. Obviously, we know off the back of Nürburgring, it was not at all what you wanted, and it's definitely put you under the sort of the pressure for that sort of. You were perhaps looking at third, fourth, fifth, something like that this season. And yeah, it's put it right in the mix. But yeah, so obviously a few of the guys having a good first race, but then some of them not having such a good second one. So actually, I think it kind of ebbs and flows. I'm waiting for like some Racing Wiki to to update so we can see where you might be.
Yeah, honestly,
updated, sir.
Honestly, it's not a bad day all in all. I'm still missing something in qualifying. Obviously, like starting 16th isn't really good enough. I lost like 3/10 in the last sector alone, just little lazy mistakes. But in the race we kind of played it safe in a P11 and a P5. I mean, it's really not too bad at all, especially when you consider Graham was quite close behind us, and I think he crashed. Yeah, he came dead last. Seb crashed. Benek had issues as well. Yeah, I mean, I think Mac was kind of close as well. I think he was in that kind of range. Like for me, down to like Alejandro in 11th, it was quite tight.
Yeah, and you had Collins as well, and then sort of as well that you managed to sort of bounce back on.
Charlie and Dane were the two main ones I was kind of worried about. Like there was like a 40-point gap from Dane back, so I could kind of not really worry about those guys so much. It was more Charlie and Dane, and obviously the Q pace that those guys had put them in good position for the sprint. But I think what happened to Charlie at the end there, we might just outscore him, or if not, it would be tight.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you did. Looking at this,
I think Dane will still outscore us though. So
you're 7 points clear of Charlie, and you're 3 points clear of Dane. So you're still in that fourth. So final round of the season.
Okay,
it's going to be
just hung on.
It's going to be exciting. I know you weren't meant to be looking at the championship standings and stuff like that, and here I am just telling you exactly where you are, so you know what you need to do.
No, it's so good. It's so good. It's hard not to look at them at this stage in the season. I will be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good position to be in. Fourth, fifth, sixth, anywhere in there is obviously kind of where we were last year, and to even be fighting for fourth going into the last round, considering we've had like 3 DNFs this season, which is more than I've ever had in the last 4 years combined. I think it definitely shows something. Since Interlagos, I've really not felt that good in the car. It's been a really tough grind this season to try and keep my head up and keep driving this thing every single day. But yeah, when you get good results like this today, it kind of it takes the sting out of things a little bit when you think about, obviously last weekend was the double DNF, and that was really tough to take. But to bounce back with a P5, I mean that's really good.
That's what you needed. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. Yeah.
You say you struggled, but this surely must be your record season for podiums, right?
For sure, yeah. I think the format's definitely helped things. I definitely didn't queue in the top 8 as much as I finished in the top 8 in the sprint. So I was kind of reversing into like a podium position in the feature.
Yeah.
And just with how the draft plays out, it was quite easy to just sit behind people. There's not really any dirt air, and there's a whole lot of draft. So Imola was like a perfect example where we just let Rogers by and just let him pull me and Alejandro away and break the draft to Benek behind. So we were basically guaranteed a podium. So that's kind of how we played things this season, was just once you're in that position, just kind of sit there. I mean, Montreal again was a perfect example, top 3 breakaway, and you just sit there. And I can just kind of drive at 75% and not really have to push at all and still keep up. So I think the format's probably helped in terms of those podiums, but I'm not going to complain. Everyone's got the same car, the same draft model. It just depends how you play it. So yeah, I mean, we'll take positives from that for sure, and hopefully Monza will be a nice clean round again, and we'll walk away with a good chunk of cash.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, well, a week's break and then in it, and that's the season done and over with. I mean, it seems like this championship's gone so quickly. Here we are, just
Yeah.
first week in, well, so second week, I guess, in April now. But yeah, so we've got a year to have a bit of fun and do a load of other events and things like that. So yeah, it should be exciting. But before I kind of let you go, anyone you want to quick give a shout out to, and any kind of like final thoughts, and you've already kind of sort of said what you want from the last round. So yeah, over to you.
Yeah, first off, I just need to give a huge thanks to everyone on the team. I think our race car was really good. I think in qualifying we might have missed something. I was hearing from George on what Commander were doing, so I think we maximised the direction we went in. I think we just missed a slight something on the warm-up lap. But I think overall the race car was amazing. It was the best car I've ever had at Le Mans. I had absolutely no issue putting the car where I wanted and everything else. So yeah, a huge thanks to all the guys on Apex Racing team, everyone who's a part of the Apex conglomerate, the ARTV, Apex Academy, Apex Racing Leagues, SDK, all those guys. Of course, RLL as well for being on board for this season. It's been awesome to drive with that kind of name on the car. It's been a real pleasure, and glad we could bring home another good result for them today, and hopefully all the best to those guys in the IndyCar testing that they're doing at the minute. So yeah, just a big thanks to everyone at RLL, Apex conglomerate, all the drivers and the team, and everyone who's kind of been supporting us this season as well. I know there's a big watch party every week in the Apex Racing Academy Discord, so it's pretty cool to kind of jump in and talk to those guys after the races and chill with them. So yeah, a big shout out to all those guys as well.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Well, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend, and yeah, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time for the final round.
Will do. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.
Well, I'm looking forward to referring to Apex as a conglomerate from now on, by the way,
That's
Alex,
it.
after
That is what I'm
Kevin
gonna
bring
do.
that to my attention on that interview.
That is us. We are a conglomerate. And one of the members of that conglomerate that I can't pronounce is Jamie Fluke. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Well, here we are again, Jamie. Here we are again. You know, what can you say? Like, yeah. If I had
I guess we can say that.
Yeah, if I had a GIF that I could do, it would be that Mr. Bean one, you know, where he's with the Lewis and Massa crash. That is my facial expressions watching what was happening with you on that final lap there. So
I can not quite do a GIF, but I can do this for you.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Is this string going to get a copyright strike?
Probably.
Well, yeah, it all comes down to the last lap in a race like this, and once again, I can't quite get on the right side of it. I thought I got away with it, and then I didn't. I had nowhere to go. Got, basically put as the meat in the sandwich with a spinning car ahead that doesn't know how to hold its brakes, and guys behind who can't see what's going on. And to be fair, I don't think I was ever avoiding the incident with how he swung back across the track. There's no way I could predict where he's going to be when I was going to get there. So, yeah, not the happiest day at the office, but some promising things to take from it. So I've got a little bit of speed back. I felt good going into this. Qualifying lap was good. First race was good, and bits and pieces of the second were good. So I don't think I drove badly. Again, I've kind of fallen on the wrong side of things, but it sets me up a little bit better moving into Monza in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've been keeping an eye on the championship and things like that, and actually, yeah, I mean, it would have made you quite safe, I feel.
I still think I almost am safe.
Yeah, 100. No, you're right. Actually, yeah, Sarika 20th, 130. You on 194. I think you might be right. Yeah.
Well, it's David in P21 who technically we need to look at it in 1, 2, 3. So, now obviously, if I avoided the last shunt there and picked up a top 5, then that's an extra 29 points, which would get me, one place higher in the standings. I can see the standings now. It's so we're up to 14th, which is about as high as we've been pretty much all season. We'll take it. But yeah, I was going into this race sort of looking forward rather than over my shoulder for the first time. I sort of backed myself that, if I score reasonable points here, then I don't have to worry about the drop zone or anything like that. So, given that gap of 61 points to P21, I think I'm in good shape.
Yeah, I think like I say, just all you just need is that just score some points, and I think you're gonna be good. So, I mean, I think you'll take that for the season that you've had. You know.
Yeah, for the season that I've had, and considering a lot of the misfortune that has been inflicted my way. Now, yes, I haven't driven brilliantly this season, and I'll put my hands up and accept that. Like, I've really, for most of the season, I haven't been as good as I should have been. But I've worked out why, and the last 2 rounds are sort of a product of, changes that I've made to try and regain a bit of a competitive edge again. So, ninth, 5th, and then taken out from 5th at the end. It's showing that we're pointing back in the right direction. So, I'm obviously disappointed with how the first, 7 rounds of the championship largely went, but we're salvaging something at the end here, so that's not too bad.
Awesome, right, mate. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Any sort of closing thoughts? Thank you, team, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Where's yours?
Yeah, no worries. Since we're using the word conglomerate, and I'm more than happy to use that at any given opportunity, I'd like to thank the whole conglomerate for all the efforts in making everything happen here. For once, actually, I actually contributed positively to setup changes, so I feel like I finally pulled my weight on this one. But all the guys, chip in with all their help, and that's what makes us generally so strong as a unit. So that's all been great. Did Kev cover the sponsors? Sorry, my head's a little bit mush at the minute after all that.
Actually, no, he didn't give them a shout out, so I'll leave that to you.
So the Computers, to SDK Gaming, to the Apex Racing Academy, to Apex Racing Leagues, to ARTV, which is what everyone's listening to and I'm watching on right now. So y'all are here. What else? The Academy, which does brilliant work. And I'd also like to thank, the entire Apex MSI conglomerate. The work that we've done this season has been really good, and hopefully we can finish off the season strong.
Thanks, Jamie. Yep,
no worries.
All the best, mate. Have a good one. Yeah, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Cool. Take it easy. Cheers.
Let's see if we have Mr. Zach Campbell kicking about.
Hey.
We do. Hello, sir.
We do.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. Welcome to the booth. My nerves have settled down a little bit now. Crazy a crazy couple of final laps there in both of them. I mean, in the first one in the sprint, you and Kev were able to pick up, a whole chunk of points or positions, and that final one, I think you guys were probably about 13th, 14th, something like that, going into the final lap, and then we're 10th and 11th, I think.
Yep, that'd be correct.
Yeah. So that was good, and then, a good little race for you in the sprint though. You managed to pick up quite a few sort of genuine places. A few great moves around the outside and things like that. But yeah, it's just an absolute lottery, isn't it? This circuit on this final lap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's was probably my worst track, I felt like, coming in. I think the qualifying effort kind of reflected that. But yeah, I mean, it was just the style of racing. This pack style of racing seems to suit me for whatever reason. Interlagos was a lot of the same in terms of just judging checkups, trying to move through the field, going in the line where there's the least amount of cars under braking. And yeah, I mean, it suited me. Got to move up through the field, which was nice. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I do have to say is I feel really bad about what happened with Diogo on the last lap. I said on the iRacing broadcast, but I was just trying to peek him a little bit, just kind of see if I could spook him off the apex, get him a batter on off the corner, and try and get him into the chicane. But I just misjudged it. Tried to get back to the throttle at my normal point. Didn't realize how fast I was closing. I just turned him. It was completely my fault. 110%. I feel awful about that. And it's just one of those things that happens, but I hate to see it happen. I don't like to get spots and get podiums that way. It's just not something I'm a big fan of. So
Yeah, we thought you would. That's kind of how you would come across in the interview. So at the end of the race, so yeah, just like I say, when everyone's fighting that hard, yeah, it's easy to make those just to make those little mistakes. But yeah, all credit for for, I guess the hands up and saying about it at that point. So
yeah.
I mean, just with the way the system works with iRacing, I'm not defending this or anything like that. Obviously they'll look at it. You'll get probably some penalty points and things like that. Is that going to come into play at Monza? Is that something you got to have to worry about?
It will, especially with Monza normally being carnage. It's something I'll have to think about, but it's not going to be in the forefront of my mind. Realistically,
You're not going to get like a quali penalty or anything like that. If
no.
you get deemed, no, you're not far enough on the point.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Yeah. I mean, like I saw on the iRacing broadcast, probably end up sending my money to Diogo. Just because I feel bad about it. I've heard that he wasn't exactly driving the cleanest this race, but that still doesn't defend what I did. And that still doesn't defend kind of how that ended up. So it's unfortunate. It's just something that I didn't want to have happen, and I feel bad because it's almost kind of clouding over what I thought was a very good race. Um, Coming from P15 to P3, through the sprint and then the feature was awesome. I really enjoyed it, actually, way more than I thought. But yeah, I mean, I just feel bad. You know, it's just one of those things that happens, but you hate to see it happen, and yeah.
Of course, that aside, looking at points and things like that, you closed in. Did you close in on Tommy? Maybe not. Tommy had a
Tommy
good
actually
race.
passed me.
Yeah. Tommy had a good race, didn't he? Meeting.
Mhm.
But have Clue sort of got some breathing room for Max, who we were talking about last week.
Mhm.
Now, because he had an absolute shocker. Yeah, so seventh, maybe sixth if something happens to like Collins or Warren and they have an absolute shocker. Final round of the season, maybe like a sixth or a fifth. Could even, well, actually, mathematically, you could still be on for fourth. So
Yeah,
if
I
those three tangle and take each other out in both races, is you have a good race. It's possible.
yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see. I'm not. There are no guarantees here. Nothing's ever guaranteed. So we'll kind of see how this ends up. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting going into the last round. With this kind of opportunity, I know we pulled really far on Max and Graham, and I think me and Tommy are very close in points now. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Monza's going to be interesting to say the least. We'll see how
It's
that
like
goes.
a mini. It's going to be like a mini version of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, at least you won't peak out there, right? I mean, that was the most frustrating thing watching it. Was just you guys just all sitting there bouncing off the rev limiter. I think at Monza you won't quite have the chance of that. So if you get a good run on someone, you will actually be able to kind of get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually take it there. I mean, here there were a few times, especially in the sprint more than the feature, where I get to somebody and then I'd just be on the limiter and I couldn't pull out and make a pass. So that'll be interesting at Monza. I know Monza was quite chaotic last year, and so we'll see how it is this year. I'm excited, really. Yeah, I think it'll be extremely interesting to see kind of all what goes on there and how everything shakes out.
Yeah, awesome. Right. Before I let you go, anyone you want to go with a quick shout out to?
All right. As always, everyone at RLL Esport, everyone at Apex Racing Team, MSI Esports for the hard work they put in. Everybody who helps make this happen. It's awesome. I really enjoy being here, and I really enjoy working with them. It's definitely something I won't forget, and something I'm really, really happy about.
Awesome stuff. Thanks very much, Zach. You enjoy the rest
Yeah.
of the weekend, mate. And yeah, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time for the final round of this season.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much.
Cheers, buddy. See you again.
See ya.
Right, last but not least, if he's there, are you there, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're not alone.
No, Mateo's here as well.
Yeah, hello.
Maybe he cannot hear you, but he's gonna get his phone so he can hear you.
What's with the deal? You guys always shorts. Is it hot over there at the minute?
It is really hot at the moment, and he's wearing the jacket because the other shirt I have it's on the laundry. So the only wear we have at the moment is the jacket, so he can use the team correct.
I appreciate him
clothing.
sweating out and wearing it for us then. Jeff, qualifying.
Yeah.
You just sit down. You just start your lap, and all hell breaks loose. I take it obviously, we saw the fact that so disconnected as well. Now it makes sense because he's there with you. So yeah, I guess it was just you that had lost the internet. We thought all of Brazil had lost internet for a moment because both of you dropped at the same time. But yeah, we got an extremely good shot of your butt as you stood up to try and sort out whatever was going on. So definitely worth watching that one back. But of course that killed your qualifying chances. But just really happy just to see you get connected at least for this one.
Yeah. So in the qualifier, I had a connection issue, and I was already past the final chicane, already on the final straight, and a few meters before the start-finish line, I disconnected from the session, and I just reset the modem and come back to the server and tried to do another kill lap. I knew it was not going to be possible, but at least I had to try it, and in the end, it was good because the car was shown quite a lot on the broadcast because I was the only one left on track.
Yeah.
So that was good for media. And starting from P33, I asked Mateus. I said Mateus actually. I asked him, "Hey, should I just full send and don't care since I'm not in a position to score points, or should I just take the safe option and try to get as many positions as I can without risking myself too much?" And he said, "Yeah, don't take any risks. I know you're not scoring any points, but if you can score a single point, it's better than put yourself in risk and ending your race right there." So that's what I've done. I was the most aggressive that I could without putting the car in a bad position, and could gain like 15 positions in race one. And by the end of the race, it was like 23 positions, I believe. So many positions, and so happy with it, and really proud to be able to put that car in the right place at the checkered flag, top 10. And big thanks to Mateus. He traveled all across Brazil, came in my apartment, and now we are doing like many tests together, looking at data together, and learning the best that I can. He sat on my rig and said, "Hey Jeff, your rig is your setup. It's too bad, like in terms of steering wheel and everything." And he just spent like 2 entire days configuring my entire sim to a way that's better, and it worked. It worked. I went from P33 to P10, so definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So perhaps some getting used to that's going to be needed now. What are we talking? Like slightly different seating position, or have we just changed like the Newton meters and the force feedback on the wheel, things like that, just to try and dial it in a little bit more?
So the force feedback has been changed from what I've been using before. I had it was super aggressive. I could not get any smooth feeling. So every bump, everything that I go through, the car tends to overreact. And he completely changed it, and changed the rubbers on the pedal as well. Said, "Hey Jeff, I think your rubbers are not placed correctly." And lucky you sent me some rubbers early this year, so I got those and replaced in my rig. And there you go. It's better. So I have better brakes. I have better force feedback, and even the clutch is better, which helped me at the start. So The rig is 100% rebuilt. Sitting position is still the same, but it's more about the configuration itself. Turns out when I steered to the right in game, it was doing faster than when I steered to the left. So that's how bad it was, and he fixed pretty much everything. And the only things he didn't fix was going to be a big change, and he didn't want it to do like 2 days before the race. But we're fixing it now for the final race at Monza.
Oh well, let's see how that how that pans out. It's amazing all the little details that make the difference. You know, once you start really fine tuning, and I think there's a lot of more casual sim racers out there that actually don't realize the importance of just getting everything sort of fine tuned and set up properly. So you know, from like getting your field of view set up right, getting your force feedback, getting the brake force factor right, and all these things, you know, just make such a huge difference. And it just goes to show, even at the level that you're at already, that you know, there's someone there that can just give you a little bit of advice that maybe will help out. So yeah, well, it's a shame we didn't see some full potential with the qualifying, but hopefully for Monza then.
Yeah, I'll go the best that I can for Monza. Today I had an incredible pace. Woke up really fast today. The entire team was really quick, and we were all in the same tent. So in qualify, I could be up there because the pace was there, and I was in a different strategy. I went for a 2-lap strategy, so different from everybody else, but could keep the same pace. So I was really happy with it, and now let's go for Monza. Just have to keep improving, and we'll get maybe dream of a top 5 finishing position. That would be amazing.
I'm going to see if I can get Mateus in on this. I don't know if he can talk. It'll have to be through his phone.
Oh,
seems. That's it. Yeah,
I can pass him the headset. Yeah,
pass the headset over.
I just put you on my phone, so yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for jumping in, and and traveling all the way to see Jeff and helping him out. It's good to see you guys. Both on the camera and that, and obviously, if anyone didn't know, obviously, Mateus joined us about midway through the season, and has really helped us and pushed us in different directions with sort of setups and things like that. And we've got to give you a big thank you, I think, for how the Sebring 24 car was, because I remember seeing the comments. How good the setup was, that you sort of tweaked just the day before the race there. I mean, a shame what happened in the race, but at least we got a win with Scott McLaughlin and Jared and Brandon as well.
Yeah, I'm really glad I'm able to help the team, and also to have this opportunity to work with top level drivers in sim racing. It's always working in a high performance environment like this pushes me a lot, gives me a lot of motivation. So being able to do it here is just a pleasure for me as well.
And just while we're on air as well, I'll have to remember that I need to send you some tax money, don't I? Because of the blimmin' import fees for all this merch that we've sent you.
Yeah. They've never returned my call asking, okay, what's the procedure like to get these merch going? So yeah, as soon as they can fix their issues, we can surely move forward on that.
Crazy world, paying triple the price for an import of a T-shirt, you know. So, but here's what it is. Right, guys. Thank you very much for jumping in. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Jeff, good luck in the final round of the season. You know, points are looking really good. You've got quite a margin now on like Dave Williams in 21st. So just a nice clean run. Have some good luck at Monza, and I think you'll be nice and safe for next year's World Championship. Yeah,
thank you. I'll do my best and try to keep my nose clean. Actually, the entire car clean for the next one, and I'll keep focused and let's see what we can get. Hopefully, keep the license. Not a big problem if we don't, because I'm quite sure I'll keep the effort into the next qualifier. So yeah, that's it. Let's push as hard as we can for the next race, and see you guys in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah, have a good one. Enjoy the weekend, and yeah, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
See you guys.
Right then, Lee. Pretty much brings us to a close.
Yeah, sure does. Say what a frantic last few corners in both the sprint and the feature. You know, sprint was pretty good overall. Feature bit tough for a couple of the guys the way it worked out. I think you nailed it on the head what you said earlier. Monza, I think, is going to feel quite similar in lots of ways, isn't it? You know, just a shrunken version, really. So hopefully, did Zach say that he was happy they wouldn't go on the limiter when you asked him? Or...
I think so. Yeah, I think he said he'd be all right. Yeah.
So fingers crossed, and actually we'll kind of get a bit more of what we're hoping for this week, where we'll actually see a bit more action. The guys don't have to be quite so desperate with their moves, and we'll have a great race to finish off the season. Fingers crossed for Kevin, securing that P4 in the championship, which would be pretty amazing result for him, and the rest of the guys hanging on to the spots that are in, making sure they're secured the top 20. We hear that we think that due to Johann's ban today and the points that have been scored by the drivers around him, he's going to have missed the cutoff for the top 20, even regardless of what he scores for the next round.
Right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap this stream up. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the host as well that we had during that one. And yeah, we'll catch you for the final round at Monza. Enjoy your weekends, everyone, and we'll see you then.